quick demo of dynamic data masking in SQL Server. I have a database called test data masking and a table called employees where I have defined a masking function to return a random value between 1000 and 5000. So if I were to look at the DDL of this table after it is created, I can see that the masking function is defined on salary to return a random value. And if I query as a user with sysadmin or any user with unmasked privilege, I can see all the data that is there with the correct salary values. So these are the correct salary values for the 4 users there. Now I'm going to connect as a user who does not have unmasked privilege, as a normal read-only user. I'll just collapse this. So this is the read-only user now. Remember these are the real salary values: 10,500, 5,000, 8,000, 6,500 for the 4 employees. But now as a read-only user without the unmasked privilege, if he were to query the table, he sees random values. See, if he were to run the query again, let me just run the query a few times so we can see how the values are returned. Each time I get a different salary value for the same employee, because the function definition is to return a random value between 1000 and 5000. So read-only user or any user who does not have unmasked privilege, he could be a read-write user also. In this case, I just create a read-only user. He could be a read-write user who has update privilege, but you can't see the actual data in the salary column. He can see the other columns, the first name column, the last name column, and the employee ID column. But there is one catch to this dynamic data masking. If he were to run a query like this, if he suspects something about the salary and if he were to run a query like this, aha! So what it shows is that although it presents the salary is 2406, it really means that he can find the employee whose salary is greater than 9000. In this case, let's look at all the data. Let's look at maybe greater than 5000. There should be 3 rows returned. I'll just run this query for 5000. So I get the 3 rows. The correct salary value is not returned, but the where clause does filter on the actual salary value. So if I run this query again, I get this employee. Now I'm going to change it to, let's see, is it greater than 11,000? No, it is not. So it's somewhere between 9,000 and 11,000. Let me try. So it's somewhere between 10,000 and 11,000. So this is one way he could do a brute force attack or a brute force query to identify an employee with a salary in a certain range. Let's say so now he knows that the salary of this employee is somewhere between 10,000 and 10,600. So this is one limitation of dynamic data masking. If we ignore this limitation where a smart user can write his own queries and figure out the approximate values, but if you take a normal user or queries which are written only through a front end, only through an application where the user cannot generate his own queries, then of course dynamic data masking is a very good feature.